Tell me, how dare you humanize him, Ian, in this piece? How dare you do that?
Well, I don't know if I did. I tried not to help Jim Dolan. I tried not to hurt him. I just wanted to reveal him. And I'm not sure that the Knicks fans who despised him before it felt any differently after it. I imagine you didn't.
No, I did. I did, actually. His comments on battling his alcoholism were something that definitely resonated with me. Obviously, I did not know about his charitable contributions in the area. I assumed he was charitable. I assumed that the Knicks are obviously part of the New York fabric for as long as they are, that they would do that. The thing that I took away from his very noble and worthy comments about his own alcoholism and how he wouldn't blame it on his family life or anybody else, it just seems that he never accepts responsibility for anything that he's done to run the Knicks into the ground, though, Ian.
Yeah, that's right. That, and also on 3 different occasions, he's accused other people of being alcoholics, which is a strange thing for a recovering alcoholic to do. And I actually did point that out to him. And
what did he say?
You're right, Rich.
What did he say to that?
He didn't have much of a response to that, because I said, listen, if a fan yells out at you, which happened, hey, sell the team, and he was walking to his car. He stopped and he pivoted and he got in the guy's face. The guy and he berated the fan for yelling that out. And I said, you know what? As a New Yorker, I grew up in and around New York City. Yeah. I can understand that. But why did you need to call the guy or accuse the guy of being an alcoholic? And so he said, well, he had a beer in his hand, but now he's done it on 3 different occasions, and I just think it's not necessary. But he didn't have much of a response to that. And so as far as his decisions running the Knicks, he's not really running them anymore. That's one thing I took away from the conversation is, unlike, say, 10, 12 years ago, he really spends so little time on the Knicks. Now he's so consumed by his entertainment properties that he hires a basketball executive. He occasionally checks in with that person, now Steve Mills and Scott Perry. He provides the resources, and he goes to the games, and that's it. Otherwise, he's worried about building these entertainment venues in Vegas and London and hopefully some other cities. And that's where I think he sees his legacy being established over the next 10 years. I think he's really retreating from the whole public part of owning an NBA team. And I thought that was actually an important part of our conversation.
So do you really think he is what I know you asked him about selling the Knicks. Do you think he really is thinking about it, Ian? I mean, because I'm sure that there's enough people that could scrape together $5 billion if that's what he wants, although I think the price of the team took a hit when you lose by 18 to the Suns after your feature airs and is published. Do you think he's really serious about it?
The stock price actually went up, according to CNBC, and then a story they published in the hours after my piece hit on ESPN yesterday morning. And people thought, hey, there's a possibility Dolan's going to sell. Stock went up. And so it was kind of a funny article to read. But I do think it's a feasible scenario. I don't think he's looking to sell, but he did tell me he can never not consider selling because he answers to his shareholders. I do believe when you look at Rich 2.5 years ago, he sold Cablevision for nearly $18 billion. He's not afraid of doing a major transaction. That was a much bigger sale than a proposed sale of the Knicks for $5 billion. I think if somebody presented an offer over the next 3, 4, 5 years in that range, or worth $1.5 billion more than the valuation of the franchise, according to Forbes, I think he would definitely consider it. No question about it, because he doesn't like the public part of being an owner of the Knicks. Even he told me after they won their first game of the season, some fans actually called out some positive things to him on his way out of the building. He didn't like that either. He doesn't like the fact that when he goes out to dinner, he needs a security guard. He doesn't like the fact that when he's out shopping, people yell negative things at him. Sometimes he told me he books musical gigs with his band in Europe just to get away so nobody can recognize him. That, to me, does not sound like a guy who's eternally committed to owning the New York Knicks. So I would not be surprised over time if that happens. And I think there are a lot of New York Knicks fans who probably hope that does indeed happen. And I guess we'll see how it plays out.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.